Hey everybody, it's Kit here, and welcome back to the Brooks Legacy. Happy Tuesday, and we are with Generation 3. Marin starts us off, and this is her new, I don't know what to call these. I don't want to just call it a thumbnail. What is it, like a generation picture? Might be a decent one. I don't know what the heck to call this. Profile picture? I don't know. But I love it. I love it so much. I'm probably going to change hers a little later, but this is a good indicator for her next phase of life now that she is a young adult. So, Generation 3 Marin Brooks, a place to belong. There's also a little hint, hint, wink, wink that if y'all are looking, you probably have already seen it there in the back. Um, yeah, so that being said, we're gonna dive right in and see about what she has been up to. And yeah, Marin's finally feeling like she's settled into a rhythm. Sulani itself hasn't gotten easier, but Marin's adjusted, and for the first time, and she can't even remember, she feels somewhat at peace. She still has Oak, the very chaotic little fox. No one has taken her up on taking him off of her hands. Instead, the Mohos have been helping her keep him healthy with wellness treats. But he's such a dang troublemaker, she has to keep several on hand constantly. Oaksy, really? You are one messy little sucker. You know that? But despite it all, even though she knows this life isn't suited for him, after all, beach sands versus snow and forest canopies, despite all of that, she's growing attached. It's going to be hard when someone finally gets back to her on a specialist. Of course, the island still has some surprises for her. She's found a cave, and it's so expansive. Beautiful caverns, forgotten trinkets, and echoing songs through the stone. Then there's the water. It almost glows. Then something else happened when she left the cave one afternoon. This lady, the visiting conservationist, not conversationist, came up and embraced her, kissing her fully on the lips and everything. Marin found herself dazed, as if she was unable to stop it, but she definitely let the lady have it afterwards, even with her head spinning and thoughts all messy. What the plum, lady? Get lost before I make you get lost. She swore she heard a weird chirp instead of normal speech from this lady. Whatever. Why did she kiss Marin anyway? Weirdo. Later that evening, it was the fireside luau gathering, so Marin swam over to participate. Her swimming and fitness skills have improved leaps and bounds beyond what she thought she was capable of. It didn't even matter that she didn't have a boat yet. And also at the luau, she tried dancing with fire, and oh boy, it was fun. She didn't even singe herself once. It was a fun gathering, but she needed a caffeinated pick-me-up before the long swim home, so she decided to try the new cafe that had popped up since the last time she was here. Lo and behold, a familiar friendly soul greeted her warmly upon entering. "Marin, how's the surf treating you?" Cleo chirped with a wide grin, gesturing at the free seat across from him. Marin smiled, putting in an order, and went to sit down. Marin was his nickname for her, and while it was cheesy, she kind of liked it. "Going pretty good, actually. How's the tide in your direction?" "Pristine and glorious. You should really come for a swim with all of us sometime." He sipped his coffee. "Doing better with that fox of yours in this long winter?" She sighed once, knowing what he meant. "Oak is sick again. He loves Oh, he loves getting into the trash that washes up. And if it's not the trash, it's the freaking bushes. Or he gets into fights with the crabs. She paused to get her coffee. As for the winter, sort of. You were right. Winter here in Sulani is special indeed. I'm still questioning if I did the right thing. I miss my family every day, but I feel better here. She couldn't meet his wise gaze. Kaleo took a sip of his coffee. Well, your fox is certainly a troublemaker. We'll get you some more wellness treats, don't you worry, Marin. And yeah, family can be tough. The call of the islands pulls some people in, and it's hard to resist. When Nalani and I left our families to move here, well, it caused a huge rift that lasted many years. But eventually everything was okay. As long as you are happy ultimately, I think they'll understand. But hey, you know we're here for you, right? Whatever you need, just say the word. She smiled once and drained her cup, feeling energized already. Thank you, Kaleo. Seriously, I appreciate it. This has been really challenging, but you and your family have made this so much easier. I don't know how I will ever repay you, but I will. I promise. She swore it, quietly, on her family name, the Watcher, and whoever else she could think of. She had to repay them. Somehow. He grinned, standing up to depart. Ah, it's no trouble, Marin. Just save me a seashell at your next sale, yeah? The chair scooted backwards underneath her as she stood too. For sure, it's on the house. Have a good night. Give my love to the family. Oak was certainly a troublemaker, but Marin liked the little guy. A lot. Even when he was sick and smelly and dug into the trash. Thankfully, Kaleo kept his promise, and a few days later, a bundle of treats came in the mail. There was a note attached that read, "Got any pretty purple shells? Nalani is a sucker for those." Marin was grateful for the friends she had made here, because without them, she would have no idea how to get some of the things they provided, wellness treats being one of them. She was also getting better at fishing. Some might even call her a master fisherman now. Fish was a plentiful natural resource in Sulani, and it provided dinner and money. However, Marin made sure to practice conservation efforts and abide by the local customs. Luckily, she could make decent money off of the many goldfish she caught. They were a pretty bad invasive species. Oak always managed to find her, even when she tried to leave him home now. At first, she worried about him running off and causing mischief, or drowning during the long swims, but he always just appeared. Seems like she wasn't the only one growing attached. After her fishing excursion, Marin spotted a Tony and his dad chatting further inland on the beach. She couldn't leave without saying goodbye, right? Or hi. They were her friends, so why did her stomach get a little flutter? Psh. Maybe it was her fish dinner. Hey guys, how's the surf? Both men grinned widely, exclaiming greetings as she joined them. Calm waters and warm sands. Winter is soon ending, and the coral are preparing for it. What else is there to ask for? Tony took a deep breath in of the salty air and sighed happily. He loved it here, and Marin was beginning to truly see why. Warm sands, huh? It's been a bit cold lately. But in that case, does anyone want to do a quick sand sculpture? One thing she hadn't even begun to master was the incredible sand sculptures she had seen. She'd been too busy trying to survive, but she hoped she could pick up some tips from them. For sure, Mar. But maybe not so quick. I got some time, and these things want patience for a true work of art. Tony smiled, bending down to join her. Kaleo just smirked knowingly at the two of them and disappeared quietly with a little twinkle in his eye. After a comfortable silence between the two of them, they made a cool little sculpture, and Marin did indeed get some tips. although maybe not as many as she could have gotten had she been focusing more on the sculpture itself. Say, Mar, Tony piped up after they stood and admired their sandwork. Want to go get some food sometime? Maybe burgers or gelato? Marin looked at him with momentary surprise, but kept her cool, even though her heart was suddenly hammering in her chest. Yeah, I'd like that. The surf shack is pretty good. I've been there once or twice. She paused for a moment, thinking of her new purchase she hadn't told anyone yet. A new phone. One not connected to her old life, and it only had enough range to work in Sulani. Something about the technology restricted here in the islands. Some weird engineering mumbo jumbo. But she did have a number, and he could have it. She'd like that. So she took a leap. I got a new phone recently, actually, from the traveling salesman. One with the Sulani bandwidth. So, here's my number. If you want it, call me. We can get that burger and gelato. He took it! He took it! He took it! Were her nerves showing on her face as he punched in her contact info? I will. His grin was maybe as wide as hers. See you around, Mar. Good night, Tony. Marin has been doing fairly well in the money-making department. Infinitely better than she had been before anyway. No longer did she have to rely on just the boat traders, but she had a sales table now. She went to the tourist beach 3 times a week to sell whatever she could scrounge up. Seashells, fish, random bits and bobs, anything really. She was doing good enough that she felt like she could get some new clothing soon. She really needed some. Of course, dealing with people has never been Marin's strong suit, and dealing with retail was a whole other beast entirely. Because explain to her why this freaking lady thought she could first filch some of Marin's goods from her table, right in front of her, then lie about it to her face, and then also steal from her money jar from behind the table in plain sight. Nuh-uh. No way. Naturally, an argument broke out, and when the lady decided to try and shove Marin away, well, she had to take out the trash, and take the trash out she did. Nice! You got her, Marin! Nalani, Atoni, and Kai's sister, also Nohia, and uh, oh my god, no, Kaleo's daughter cheered her on from the sidelines. Also, author note here, guess who gets Nohea and Nalani mixed up in the naming department? So earlier, when Kaleo was talking about him and Nalani moving here, he met him and his wife, who is Nohea, by the way. Nalani is the teenager in front of Marin in this picture. I got it wrong on the blog too, and I didn't question it until just now. And I'm not going to go back and re-edit that. Or, but yeah, no. Sorry. But after that fight broke out, she usually found Kai or one of the Nohos, usually Kai or Atoni, around her when she was doing her sales. They said it was just to make sure she was safe and that nobody messed with her. Islanders watch each other's backs and all of that. Marin was really grateful to have such good, sweet, and kind friends, and to have met them. If only she could repay their kindness one day. And, of course, Oak was usually always around during these sales. If he wasn't growling at bad customers, he was off fighting squirrels or chasing crabs and or snatching the occupied seagull. He tap danced on her last nerve all the time. But just before she lost her mind, he'd bring her a present he dug up from somewhere. and often it was something she could sell. So, despite the tap dancing, you're a good boy, aren't you? Somewhere deep, deep inside. Aw. She crooned as she scratched his ears. For the first time since he had appeared on her beach, the thought crossed her mind of keeping him. Just maybe. And that is that. So, Marin is getting along, mostly, with Sulani. Uh, any guesses as to where Oak is from, by the way? I don't know. I feel like it's fairly obvious, but like also, I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Um, so yeah, any guesses? Um, I'll probably tell you guys soon. Um, but yeah, she's doing good, and who knows? Maybe a little date with a Tony in the future. Well, I mean, a friendly date, right? Yeah. And as for technology and stuff in Sulani, yeah, for some reason, and she kind of somewhat, she knew this to a degree. She just didn't realize how much it wouldn't work. Like technology just does not work in Sulani. You need to have a upgraded phone and yada 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 yada. The one that she has now will only work within Sulani. If you try to call numbers out of the bandwidth and like back to the mainland, it doesn't work. Yeah, more on that later. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I am honestly loving this. I love Marin's storyline, and I love getting to watch her grow into this different person because it's like she fits. It's like a puzzle piece that never quite fit into the other puzzles, but then you get it to the right puzzle. You know what I mean? Like she's at peace and she's not sure exactly what the hell that means, but she just fits. So yeah. Also, I love the NoHos, so thank you, G Lovely, for making them for me about a million years ago. I still love them to death, even though I get Noah and Nalani's names mixed up constantly. Thank you. Alrighty, you guys. I hope y'all have a fantastic day and the rest of the week. And yeah, thank y'all so very much for watching. And don't forget, where the water's slow, legacies grow. Bye.